Thanks for joining us for another edition of Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. Today we talk about foreign affairs and foreign trade. That might seem a bit disconnected to you, but it is not. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Honorable A.J. Nicholson, is here with us, and he will make the connections for us. Thank you for your company. Minister, good to have you on the show.
Oh, good to be with you again, sir. Good to be with you.
Always good to chat with you.
Yeah.
Minister, tell us, how does the Ministry of Foreign Affairs relate to other ministries? Why do we need a Ministry of Foreign Affairs?
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade is really the link of your country to the world internally, and there is also a direct link between what happens internally and what you project externally. Inside Jamaica, for example, you have certain operations. Now, that's what you have to project in your external affairs. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade is really a facilitatory ministry, facilitating what the other ministries do, what the Ministry of Agriculture does to the world, what you export, how do you find places to which to export these things, indeed also imports. How do you deal with your oil imports? How do you deal with your environment? How does the world see you in dealing with climate change? The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade facilitates those things.
Do you have mechanisms for liaising with the private sector, liaising with people who are exporting goods and services, and therefore do they have the means of influencing what you do, giving you inputs at Foreign Affairs?
For example, there is now the development of a new trade policy for Jamaica. We are part of the anchor of that trade policy that has been developed. Now, it would make more sense, you would think, to have a development mechanism for trade policy without having the private sector having an input. So, in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, there is that mechanism.
CARICOM, Minister, there are some who are even wondering whether we should be a part of CARICOM. They note some of the tensions between Jamaica and Trinidad. Do we still see CARICOM as important? Why is it important to us?
From the very beginning, there were persons who wondered whether Jamaica should not just go it alone and forget about this entire CARICOM arrangement.
Federation
the truth is, indeed, the truth is that the way the world, the global economic space has been developed in regions, in trading blocks and the like, it would be, I think, foolhardy of Jamaica or any CARICOM country, with respect, to think of going it alone. No, what I believe with CARICOM, people might say that it has been going on for a long time. But if we recall, the European Union, it took a very long time to come into being.
Absolutely.
Very, very long time.
Absolutely.
Patience is important. Tact is important. How you approach things. It might very well be that some of the arrangements, the mechanisms that have been put in place, they might have to be rethought. Might very well be, I don't know. But to say that we should do away with the CARICOM or the integration experiment, no. As a matter of fact, for me, as a new minister, I can tell you that at the top of my agenda is to attempt the improvement of our CARICOM relationship.
At the top of your agenda?
At the top of my agenda, the CARICOM relationship. I am buoyed, for example, when I hear that Minister Hilton and his counterpart at Port of Spain just recently are moving together to mend fences with LNG and other products. I am heartened by that because Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Kitts, Nevis, and all of us, we have so much in common.
Absolutely right.
So much in common. And when I say so much in common, I don't only mean voting at the UN, which is a number of states. Not only that, but we historically, culturally, we have so much in common that I believe it is easier to do what we are trying to do than to attempt to go it on your own.
So the government remains committed to CARICOM?
This government, Portia Simpson Miller's government, is committed
to CARICOM. We're speaking with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Honorable A.J. Nicholson. He has more to tell us when we come back from our break.
No, son. A verb is an action word.
Parents need to become more involved in their children's education.
Parents are the first and in many cases the most important teachers.
Read with your children. Review their schoolwork. Visit their school.
Tapping and rapping and slapping, I said.
Nice. High five. Woo!
A good education will never decay.
Welcome back. We're speaking to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Honorable A.J. Nicholson. Minister, what are we doing in terms of deepening our relations with Latin America? I think we opened an embassy, did we, in Brazil?
In Brazil, yes. Our ambassador is now there. We haven't officially opened, but you know we can operate without the official opening. It would be good, I think, if the Prime Minister herself should go there to open that embassy. It is a strategic embassy with the greatest of respect. And if you notice that the Latin America and Caribbean region is being approached by outsiders as one entity.
Absolutely one.
As one entity. Brazil is way up on the totem pole now as one of the BRICS, right? The real countries that are moving forward. Brazil is right up there. And it's not only Brazil, countries of Mercosur.
Of course.
The Latin American and South American countries. Chile,
is
Bolivia has gone a certain way away from the Washington consensus.
Yes, it is.
And is moving ahead.
Yes,
perhaps not to the liking of some states, but moving ahead. The question that you ask is of the utmost importance. Jamaica has to deepen her relationship with Brazil and the surrounding countries, and we have started.
Yes. We're also deepening our relations with Asia.
Indeed.
China is critically important, India, other members of the BRIC countries. So we are deepening.
Yes, we are.
Those areas.
It's a pity, I think, that we don't have an embassy in or High Commission in India. It is a pity. But China is there, Japan. We have in both. We have in both. In time, I think India, one of those countries moving forward just rapid pace. I think that the connection, one of the things we have to understand is that what happens in the world impacts what happens in your country.
Minister, you made an important but controversial statement recently about the reclassification of Jamaicans, of Jamaica. And some were saying, why you want to reclassify as a middle income? But you were onto something. Explain what was your thinking?
All right. You know, Jamaica there are three things we have to consider. It's a highly indebted country. Highly indebted. Two, it is small in size. So we don't have the resources that other big countries have.
High import dependence.
And right. And third, we suffer very, very seriously from the vagaries of the weather. The climate change. Well, not climate change, climate conditions, sorry. Now then, I don't think that it is, we don't quarrel about the categorization as a middle-income country or upper middle-income country per se. What we quarrel about strongly, and we have the backing of many countries across the world, is the way, the mechanism that is used to arrive at that categorization. And the mechanism is one, per capita income. To the extent that Jamaica and China, they occupy the same category.
Of course.
Upper middle income.
Yes.
Now then, when you are so categorized, you lose some of the concessionary arrangements and cooperation that are offered in the global fraternity. You don't, certain concessions that the World Bank and the IMF would give to other countries, they would not give to you. So we believe that the mode of categorization should be changed. Sorry, we don't agree with the World Bank.
And Jamaica is not the only country that's putting forward that view,
Oh,
Minister.
indeed not.
There are other countries calling for that.
Indeed.
That in the wake of what has happened with the Great Recession of 2008 and how it has affected certain countries.
That's right.
The classification given before that has become meaningless.
It's become meaningless. Well, just recently I was at this UNCTAD conference, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, right? And all of the countries there understood the reasoning.
In 2008, the G20 countries allocated billions of dollars for certain countries.
right.
But because of the classification which exists, it excluded a country like Jamaica, which should properly get those resources.
That's right.
If we had those resources, it means that perhaps we don't have to put taxes on certain areas because you would have social protection. You would have balance of payment support.
That's right. So you see the link.
The link between
the link is immediately there. Immediately there. And we cannot, not something that we can relent on. We have to keep fighting it.
So you'll be fighting that in
We'll be fighting that
forum.
in any forum, every forum, bilaterally, multilaterally, right across the globe. We will be fighting that.
The importance of the diaspora.
The diaspora is really where our anchor lies for the future. That is where, because Jamaicans, our anchor lies in services, the services sector. And if most of our intellectual capital is on foreign soil, then we have to bring the diaspora together. So we make the diaspora and the Jamaicans who have chosen to make their home Jamaica, make them one entity. That is why it is so very important. There are a lot of avenues are going to be opened up with the new the Olympic Games, for example. The link has to be concretized. The diaspora is really our future.
Relations with Canada. Minister, how are those relations going? Are we strengthening the contact with Canada?
Canada has been very kind to Jamaica over many, many years. Many, many years. It is true that at Jamaica CARICOM Canada agreement is being pushed through at this time, trade agreement. There are issues. There are challenges.
There are some issues.
There are issues. It is our duty within CARICOM, within Jamaica, to try to work through those issues. Is there to be a development content? Is there to be an export content? What investment content? How do you work it through? And it is our intention in the ministry in Jamaica to try to get CARICOM not to move on these negotiations in such a way as to have Canada and Jamaica or Canada and CARICOM having a distance between them.
Minister, how would you say is our image internationally?
It is quite uncanny. The goodwill that Jamaica has in the international arena. Our image, sure, it has been dented somehow, perhaps recently or whatever, sure. But I don't think it has been dented to the extent that anybody is shunning us. They are encouraging us. They want to see Jamaica move forward. Well, you know, Jamaica really punches above its weight. Punches above its weight.
So we continue.
And the goodwill
to do that.
Is there.
Good.
Yes.
We know under your leadership, Minister, that goodwill will only increase.
Bless you.
Good. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Adrian Nicholson, speaking to us about critical areas under his portfolio. Next week, we'll be back with another Issues and Answers. Until then, Ian Bourne wishing you a pleasant evening.